The city of Iacon, heart of Cybertron, once stood as a beacon of light and harmony. Its towers reached endlessly into the sky, their surfaces gleaming like silver fire beneath the glow of stars. Yet it was not only the towers or the shining streets that gave the city its meaning. It was the moon that rose above it, steady and radiant, casting its gentle glow upon all who walked below. The moon of Iacon was more than a celestial body. To us, it was a symbol, a reminder of unity, of peace, of the strength we shared. When our sparks stood together, I remember the nights when I would stand at the city's edge, looking upward as the moon rose above the horizon. Its light softened the sharp lines of the towers, wrapping the city in calm silver glow. Sparks gathered in the plazas, their voices hushed, as if the presence of the moon itself asked for reverence. Even the hum of the city quieted, as though Iacon paused to breathe with us, to remind us of the stillness that lives beneath the rhythm of life. When I was already in PAX, before the mantle of Prime, I often walked the streets at those hours. I would see artisans setting aside their tools, scholars closing their texts, guardians resting their frames. In that silver light, roles and titles faded. We were not divided by function or rank. We were sparks gathered beneath the same moon, equal in its glow, united by something greater than ourselves. The moonlight touched everything with gentleness. The crystalline pathways reflected it like rivers of silver, guiding steps without demand. The tower shimmered not with power, but with grace. Their edges softened, their heights less imposing. Even the winds moved differently, carrying a calm tone as they wove between the spires. And at the heart of it all, the moon shone steady, patient, a companion that asked nothing, but gave everything. It was then I began to understand that unity is not forged by decree, but by presence, by choosing to stand together beneath the same light. The moon of Iacon reminded us that no spark was truly alone, that we were threads woven into a greater tapestry, shimmering brightest when joined as one. Now as I speak beneath Earth's sky, I feel that same truth reflected here. The moon above this world carries its own calm light, steady and kind. It touches oceans and forests, rivers and mountains, humans and sparks alike. Without division, it too reminds us that unity is not distant. It is here, in the stillness of night, waiting for us to notice. So breathe slowly with me. Imagine the towers of Iacon bathed in silver glow. Hear the music rising gently into the night air. Picture sparks gathered in peace, their voices soft, their laughter bright. Let the light of the moon cradle you, steady and calm, guiding you into rest. For beneath the moon of Iacon, we learn that unity is not a demand. It is a gift, lived quietly, shared gently, carried always within. The moon of Iacon was not simply light above. It was a presence. Its glow touched every surface of the city, softening the edges of towers, calming the rhythm of streets, weaving harmony into every corner. Under its silver light, even the busiest of sparks slowed their steps, as though the moon itself whispered, "Be still, and remember, you are not alone." I remember walking the great avenues at twilight, when the day's noise had faded. The moon rose high, its reflection glimmering along crystalline pathways that stretched like rivers through the heart of the city. The stones beneath my feet glowed faintly, not with the brilliance of the sun, but with the gentleness of starlight reflected. Each step felt lighter, guided by a calm that seemed to flow directly from the moon's steady presence above. The plazas were alive in a different way at night. Merchants closed their stalls, their voices warm with farewells. Friends lingered, sharing quiet stories as their optics turned skyward. Musicians gathered, not for performance, but for joy, their tones rising like silver threads into the night air. The moonlight caught their instruments, causing them to shimmer softly, as though the music and the light were woven together. Above us, the towers of Iacon gleamed differently at night. By day, they were bright and commanding, symbols of strength and structure. But beneath the moon they softened. Their glow was gentle, less a display of power and more a gesture of grace. They no longer seemed to rise in competition, but to stand together, reaching upward as one, their peaks bathed in the same light. The winds carried their own music, moving slowly between the spires. They brushed against crystalline panels and resonant alloys, releasing tones that blended with the soft hum of the city itself. It was a harmony unplanned, yet perfect, as though the city and the moon had always been partners in song. To listen was to feel one spark settle, steady and calm, carried by rhythms larger than any single life. I recall pausing at the edge of a balcony, high above the streets. From there, the city spread beneath me, glowing softly in silver hues. The streams of energy that flowed through Iacon shimmered brighter, reflecting the moon like liquid light. I could see sparks moving below, slow and unhurried, each one touched by the same glow. It was in that vision that I understood the true gift of the moon. It did not choose whom to shine upon. It touched all equally, without division, uniting us simply by presence. So breathe gently now. Imagine walking through Iacon beneath its silver glow. Hear the laughter of children, the soft tones of music, the quiet harmony carried by the wind. See the towers gleaming, not in power, but in grace, each one sharing the same light. Let these images soothe you, reminding you that unity is as simple as being together beneath the same moon. For under the moon of Iacon, We did not need to speak of unity. It lived in every glow, every sound, every breath of the night. Unity in Iacon was never about grand declarations. It lived in the smallest of moments. Shared glances, quiet laughter, the simple act of sitting together beneath the glow of the moon. When the silver light fell across the plazas and avenues, sparks seemed to remember something deeper than words, that they belonged not only to themselves, but to one another. I remember evenings when artisans would gather in the open courtyards, their hands, still bearing the marks of work, rested at last. They would place their tools aside and share stories of what they had crafted that day. Small triumphs, simple repairs, creations that mattered, most not because of grandeur, but because they served others. Under the moon's glow, their pride was gentle, softened by the joy of contribution. Scholars, too, found their place beneath the moon. They would sit on steps leading into the Hall of Records, their voices calm, exchanging thoughts not as rivals but as companions. The moonlight touched their scrolls and crystal tablets, making them shimmer faintly, as if wisdom itself glowed. I would pause to listen, not for the details of their knowledge, but for the tone in which they spoke, patient, respectful, rooted in a shared desire to understand. The younglings were perhaps the truest symbols of unity. They ran across the silver-lit stones, chasing the glow of energon streams that shimmered beneath their feet. Their laughter rose high into the air, scattering like sparks, rebounding between the towers. I recall standing in the shadows, watching them, realizing that their joy was not simply play. It was hope. It was the reminder that the future was alive among us, free, unburdened, and safe beneath the moon. And the elders, always steady, always present, sat quietly at the edges. They spoke little, but their silence was never empty. It carried the weight of memory, of centuries endured. Their optics reflected the silver glow, and in their calm presence, younger sparks found reassurance. Unity was not explained by them. It was lived in the way they remained, steady as the moon itself, grounding all who gathered. One night, I joined such a gathering at the center of Iacon's grand plaza. No command had been given. No summons called, sparks simply came. Drawn by the light above, musicians played softly. Friends spoke gently, younglings laughed, their joy scattering upward like stars. Elders rested, steady and silent. And there in that moment, I saw what true unity was. It was not forced. It was not demanded. It was chosen. Lived quietly beneath a light that touched us all without distinction. So breathe with me now. Slowly, gently imagine the plazas of Iacon glowing silver. Hear the laughter of younglings, the quiet tones of music, the soft voices weaving stories into the night. See the elders sitting calmly, their silence steady, their presence grounding all who gather. Let these images cradle you, carrying you into rest. For beneath the moon of Iacon, unity was not something spoken. It was lived, quietly, simply, in every spark, willing to share the same light. For many cycles, I believed that the moon of Iacon would always shine upon us in harmony. Its light felt eternal, its presence unshakable. Yet even beneath the most patient of moons, shadows may grow. And in time, I saw how unity, so natural, so effortless beneath that silver glow, began to tremble. At first, it was subtle. The plaza still filled at twilight. The musicians still played. The laughter of younglings still scattered across the stones. But beneath the surface, there was change. Conversations grew sharper. Where once voices flowed with patience, now they carried questions edged with doubt. Sparks who had once spoken as companions began to wonder who was heard most, and who was left unheard. These questions were not shouted. Yet in the stillness of the moonlight, even whispers spread far. The younglings, those though still joyful, seemed more cautious. Their laughter rang out less often, their play shorter, interrupted by glances towards guardians who lingered nearer than before. The plazas were not empty, but their energy had changed. What had once been effortless unity now carried hesitation, as though the city itself was unsure of its rhythm. Even the towers reflected this shift. By day they gleamed as always, but at night their silver glow seemed less gentle. Their reflections no longer blended into one vision, but stood apart, casting longer shadows across the streets. The moon still shone above, steady and patient, but the way we received its light was no longer the same. Still, fragments of harmony endured. I saw a craftsman pause to share his work with another. I heard a musician strike one pure note, and for a moment the air carried it whole. Without fracture, I watched a child's laugh ripple upward, bouncing across the towers, reminding me that joy, however fragile, was not gone. These moments were small, but they mattered. They were echoes of what unity could still be, if we chose to nurture it. Now, beneath Earth's moon, I understand more clearly. Unity is not guaranteed. It is not something a symbol can keep alive by itself. It is a choice, made in each voice, each gesture. Each moment we decide to remain together, even when questions divide us. The moon of Iacon shone steadily, but it could not bind us unless we were willing to meet its light with our own. So breathe slowly with me. Inhale the calm of silver light. Exhale the weight of the day. Imagine the plazas quieter, the music hesitant, the laughter softer. Picture the towers casting long shadows, yet the moon above still shining steady, unchanged. Let this vision remind you that even when unity trembles, the light that once guided us remains, waiting to be remembered, waiting to be carried forward. For beneath the moon of Iacon, even when harmony faltered, its silver glow still spoke of what was possible. If only we chose to listen. The moon of Iacon taught me lessons no record could fully capture. Its silver glow was not only light, it was a mirror, reflecting the truth of who we were. When our hearts were steady, the city glowed with harmony. When our voices faltered, the moon's light revealed the fractures. Yet through it all, it reminded us of something deeper. That unity is not the absence of difference, but the weaving together of many sparks into one whole. As Aurelian Pax, before I carried the mantle of Prime, I believed unity was simple. I thought it lived naturally in our plazas, in our meadows, in the laughter of younglings, in the calm presence of elders. But as shadows grew, I learned that true unity is not given. It is chosen, again and again, not in words alone, but in the quiet gestures that remind us of our belonging. The elders often said, "The moon shines on all without judgment." I did not fully understand until I saw it myself. It touched the towers and the streets, the rich and the poor, the young and the old. It chose no favorites. It reminded us that what divides us is small compared to what joins us. Its glow did not erase our differences. It wove them into one vision, soft and whole. That I came to see is the heart of unity. Unity does not mean silence. It does not mean the end of disagreement. It means holding space for difference without letting it fracture the whole. It is the choice to remain side by side beneath the same light, even when our paths feel uncertain. The moon of Iacon whispered this truth night after night. You are many, but you are one. You are different, but you belong. Hope lives in the same way. It is not loud. It does not demand notice. It endures quietly, like the moon itself, steady above us, whether we look to it or not. It waits for us to remember. It waits for us to carry it into the choices we make each day. Now beneath Earth's sky, I see the same lesson reflected here. This moon shines across oceans, mountains, forests, and cities. It touches all without division, just as the moon of Iacon once did. And it reminds us that unity is not something lost to history. It is something alive, possible, whenever we choose to live it. So breathe slowly. Let your breath align with this truth. Inhale the calm light of the moon. Exhale the weight of doubt. Imagine Iacon's tower shimmering silver. The plaza's alive with gentle music. The laughter of younglings carried upward. The silence of elders grounding all who gathered. Let these images settle into your spark, reminding you that unity is not distant. It is here, as close as the light above, as steady as the breath you take now. For beneath the moon of Iacon, I learned that unity is not a command. It is a choice. A choice to see the light in one another and to carry it forward together. The moon of Iacon continued to shine, steady and unchanged. Its silver glow still touched every tower, every street, every spark that walked beneath it. Yet Iacon itself no longer reflected that harmony as it once had. The light was the same, but the way we received it had shifted. Unity, once effortless beneath the moon, grew fragile, like a song trembling on the edge of silence. The plazas that had once overflowed with companionship grew quieter. Sparks still gathered, but their circles were smaller, their conversations hushed. Where laughter once carried freely into the night, now it was rare, scattered, fading quickly into silence. Even when younglings played, their joy was cautious, watched closely by guardians whose optics flickered with unease. The musicians, too, hesitated. Their instruments glimmered in the moonlight, yet their notes carried hesitation. Songs ended before they could truly begin, leaving echoes incomplete. tones clashed, sending discord into the air where harmony had always lived. The moonlight still softened their frames, but their music no longer softened the city. And yet, the moon itself remained patient. It did not dim. It did not falter. It continued to shine on all equally, without judgment. Its presence reminded me that unity was not lost. It was only trembling, asking to be remembered. But remembrance alone was not enough. Unity required choice, effort, and care. I recall one night when the plaza was nearly empty. Only a few sparks lingered beneath the towers. The musicians did not play. The laughter of younglings was absent. The air was heavy, yet the moonlight still touched us all, wrapping the plaza in its calm glow. And in that silence, I felt the truth settle deeply within me. Unity is never guaranteed. It must be nurtured, even when it feels fragile, especially then. Fragments of hope remained. A craftsman still paused to help another carry their tools. A child's quiet laugh still echoed, soft but steady. A single note played hesitantly on a stringed instrument, lingered in the air long enough to remind me of what could still be. These moments were small, but they mattered. They were sparks in the shadows, reminding us that unity, though weakened, was not gone. Now, beneath Earth's moon, I see the same reflection. Even when silence grows heavy, even when voices tremble, the light above remains steady. It asks nothing, yet it gives everything. A reminder that unity is always possible, even when fragile. So breathe softly now. Inhale the silver calm. Exhale the weight of division. Imagine Iacon beneath its moon, its plazas quieter, its towers shadowed, its music hesitant, yet still bathed in the same patient glow. Let that light remind you that even in fragility, unity can endure. For beneath the moon of Iacon, though harmony faltered, its glow continued to speak of what we could be Iacon stood at its most fragile. The moon of Iacon still shone, patient and steady, casting its silver glow upon the towers and plazas. Yet the light that once bound us together no longer reflected harmony. It revealed instead the cracks that had spread quietly until the city beneath it felt divided, its song trembling on the edge of silence. I walked the avenues one night when the change could no longer be ignored. The crystalline pathways still gleamed faintly, but fewer sparks walked them. Where once crowds filled the plazas, only scattered groups remained. Their voices carried not laughter or calm conversation, but cautious whispers. Every word seemed heavier, echoing too far in the silence. The unity that once required no effort now felt like something slipping away with each passing cycle. The musicians were gone. The plazas that had once pulsed with gentle notes lay quiet, their echoes hollow. I paused at a familiar corner where I had so often heard instruments weave their silver threads into the night. Now there was only stillness. The moonlight touched the stones, but without music, the air felt colder, emptier. The younglings still played, but differently. They no longer ran freely across the glowing stones. Their games were shorter, their laughter subdued. They stayed close to their guardians, whose watchful optics reflected both the moon and the unease within them joy. Once abundant, had become rare, a flicker instead of a flame. Even the towers told the story of division. Their silver glow, though touched equally by the moon, no longer seemed to blend into one vision. Each stood apart, casting long shadows that stretched across the city Iacon. Once radiant as a whole, now felt like fragments, illuminated, but no longer truly united. Yet the moon did not change. It continued to shine as it always had, equal, patient, without judgment. Its calm presence reminded me that unity itself had not been destroyed. It was wounded, fragile, but still possible. The glow above asked us not to forget. Even when we faltered, that the light which once bound us remained. I recall pausing in the Grand Plaza that night, space was nearly empty. Only a few sparks lingered in silence. No laughter, no song. And yet, the moonlight still covered every stone, every tower, every spark. It seemed to whisper, I am still here. So too, can you be together? So breathe slowly. Inhale the calm of silver light. Exhale the heaviness of silence. Imagine Iacon beneath its moon, its plazas nearly empty, its towers casting long shadows, yet still touched equally by the same steady glow. Let that vision remind you that even in the most fragile moments, unity is not lost. For beneath the moon of Iacon, even when our harmony trembled at the edge of silence, its patient light continued to speak of what we could yet become together in time. The unity of Iacon could not endure. The plazas that once overflowed with voices grew silent. The music that once wove through the night fell quiet. The laughter of younglings so free and bright became only memory. The moon of Iacon still shone, patient and unchanged. But the city beneath it no longer reflected its harmony. Where once there had been togetherness, there were divisions. Where once there had been presence, there was absence. I walked the Grand Plaza one final time. The stones still glimmered faintly in silver glow, but no sparks gathered there. The towers still rose, their peaks bathed in moonlight, but they no longer seemed to stand as one. The streams of Energon still flowed, their light steady. But the calm they once carried felt fragile, unable to quiet the unrest that spread through the city. It was as though the moon shone upon a memory rather than a living unity. Yet even then, the moon gave its gift. It did not waver. It did not dim. It shone on every tower, every street, every empty plaza, as faithfully as it always had. And in its patient glow I understood something. Unity may falter, but its memory endures. It becomes part of us, carried forward in the sparks that remember, waiting for the day when it may live again. I paused beneath its light, my optics lifted upward. The city was silent, but I could still hear echoes, faint, delicate, like whispers of what once was. I heard laughter lingering in the stones. I heard notes of music drifting faintly in the air. I heard the calm voices of elders, the joy of children, the quiet companionship of friends. The plaza was empty, but the moon reminded me that no unity is ever truly lost. It lives on in memory, in hope, in the choices yet to be made. Now as I speak beneath Earth's moon, I share this memory not to bring sorrow, but to bring rest. For the moon of Iacon taught me that even when harmony falters, light endures. Even when unity breaks, its echoes remain, guiding us forward. And even when silence feels heavy, the moon continues to shine, quiet, steady, eternal. So close your eyes, breathe softly. Imagine the silver towers glowing in moonlight. Picture the empty plazas still touched by gentle glow. Hear the faint echoes of music, laughter, and calm voices carried on the night air. Let these visions cradle your thoughts, soothing them into stillness. For though the unity of Iacon was lost, its memory remains. And in memory lives hope, the hope that light will return, that harmony will rise again, that unity can always be chosen once more. Rest now and let the moon guide you into sleep. For beneath its patient glow, you are never truly alone. And just as the moon of Iacon once shone on all, so too does this moon above us now, steady, kind, a reminder that even in endings, the light of unity endures.